What's up, everybody? It's Priyon Joni. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I'm here in Detroit right now. I celebrated Christmas with my family, so I'm here for a couple more days. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys because it was a topic that keeps coming up in the comments of a lot of my DJ controller videos. And what I get asked pretty often is, does that controller work with Virtual DJ? And it actually leads to a more important question, which we're going to talk about today, which is it a good idea to remap your DJ controller for a different DJ software than what it was made for? Okay, so there are two things to know about mapping to a DJ software. There are two kinds of mapping. There is number one, there's the MIDI mapping. And in the MIDI mapping, that allows you to map the sliders, the knobs, even the jog wheels, all the functions to control the DJ software. And then number two, the second part of mapping is the audio mapping, where you can route the inputs and the outputs for the audio of the DJ controller. Now, out of the four major DJ softwares, let's say we got Virtual DJ, Traktor, Serato DJ, and Rekordbox DJ. So out of those, Traktor and Virtual DJ is mappable both in MIDI and in audio. So when you're using that software, you can actually assign all the controls, knobs, faders, jog wheel, to any function in the DJ software, as well as assign the sound cards to what you want them to be. In Serato and Rekordbox, however, you can only map them by MIDI. You cannot remap the audio. And on top of that, you are still required to have a Serato piece of hardware or a Rekordbox piece of hardware, which is a controller, mixer, or interface for the respective software, in order for the audio to work at all. Now, with that said, is it a good idea to remap a DJ controller that's not made for a specific software? What are the pros and cons? So let's check out the pros. If you like the layout of, let's say, a DDJ SB3 like I have, but you want to use it for Traktor, then you can go one by one, every single button, map it so that that Serato controller can function inside Traktor, and you can map the audio sound card of that controller to function with Traktor. And you basically can have a Serato controller controlling the Traktor software. And one of the cool things, because Traktor is so open, as well as Virtual DJ, about their mapping, you can virtually use any MIDI controller. It doesn't have to be a DJ controller. You can use an MPK Mini and use a separate audio interface for your output. Cool stuff like that. People have used APC 40s made for Ableton with Traktor. And that's one of the cool things about Traktor and even Virtual DJ, is that it's such an open software for customization. Now, there's a lot of creative people who use 16 pad buttons, or custom mapping on existing controllers and use them in Traktor. And that's really cool because MIDI is pretty real time with the response. There's a whole website dedicated to the art of controllerism, which is djtechtools.com. So going back to that question, whenever somebody asks me, can this controller work with Virtual DJ? The answer is yes. In fact, any controller can work with Virtual DJ. You just need to custom map it. But however, the biggest con to remapping a DJ controller not made for a different DJ software is the fact that the jog wheels won't respond as fast as the software that controller was originally made for. For example, if I have a DDJ SB3 like I own, and I download a custom mapping for Traktor, and I want to use my SB3 and use it with Traktor, what happens with the jog wheel? Everything else, the faders, the knobs, channel faders, EQ, everything else responds in real time. Cue points respond in real time. But when we get to the jog wheel has a short millisecond delay. And that short delay actually throws off your ability to actually scratch, like do precision scratching in real time. And why is that? The reason for that is because the jog wheels protocol, let's say on the SB3, to talk to its original software, which is Serato, it doesn't talk to the software in MIDI. Because MIDI is such an old protocol, the resolution of MIDI is so reduced, it's 127 steps, that in order for the jog wheel to be accurate when you turn it, there has to be some delay between the time you turn the jog wheel and for the software to respond. When the SB3 talks to Serato, it uses a completely different protocol, something proprietary. I believe it's called HID. When you map that controller that's made for Serato to Traktor, the problem that rises is that you can only map it via MIDI because the protocol that the jog wheel normally talks to Serato is not open for mapping. And that's how a lot of companies build their controllers. So what happens is when you turn that jog wheel and it's mapped via MIDI, it does not respond in real time. This is why whenever you see somebody with a custom mapping of a Serato DJ controller, you will never see them doing any advanced scratching in another software when it's remapped. And that's the biggest reason why I don't remap my controller to another software. Now, there are some controllers out there that can work with multiple software. For example, a DDJ SB2, a DDJ SX, a DDJ SZ can work both with Rekordbox natively and Serato natively. It doesn't even require any mapping. Also, one of the reasons why CDJs, like the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2, are priced up over their controller counterparts is because they're one of the few accessories that actually be used in multiple software platforms. That protocol is called HID mode. That allows you to plug and play via USB. The CDJ and the jog wheel, as well as all the buttons, will work in multiple software platforms. I'm not sure about Virtual DJ, but that includes Traktor, Rekordbox, and Serato DJ. Now, one of my go-arounds, I showed this in another video, is if let's say you have a controller and you mapped it to Traktor, and you have the laggy jog wheel that you can't really scratch on. I can't even get a chirp out. One go-around I discovered was that you can take a CDJ 2000 that's capable of HID mode and set it up in your setup, and you can use the CDJ's jog wheel as your real-time jog wheel for each of your channels to substitute the jog wheel that's on your controller.
So much more effortless trying to do the same exact motions because the CDJ is more in real time.
So basically, that's the biggest reason why I'm not a big fan of remapping a controller. I think you get the best results when you use a DJ controller that's made for a certain software. But I'm not saying there's not creative ways to get around it, like I just showed an example of. And I think experimentation really does bring out creativity in people. And I think using gear differently from what it was intended to is a great way to discover how things work and maybe come up with new ways to do things. But if you wanted to use, let's say, an SB3 to control Traktor and you wanted to scratch, I wouldn't recommend remapping the controller for Traktor. I would say just get a DJ controller made for Traktor. And of course, like I said, there's that go around of adding a CDJ, but usually when you have a controller, you don't necessarily always have a CDJ lying around in handy. And that's just my quick video to you guys, just sharing my thoughts on whether it's a good idea to map a DJ controller to a different software than what it was made to be used for. Well, hope you guys like this video. If it's your first time here and you found it useful, please hit that subscribe button and click that little bell icon so you guys get a notification the next time I upload a video. If you guys got any questions or if I made it a little confusing, please leave it in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer it or have a discussion with you guys. Really appreciate you guys for watching. Have a happy new year. Take care.